So last week, we were going into fractions a little deep. And I gave you some problems, and we worked together through some problems that look like this. Some problems that look like this. How did we work through those problems? What do you remember that we did? What information did we have? Darius, what did you think? Big voice.
We took the denominator and drew the groups. I think we took the denominator and drew the groups of that.
Okay, so he said he remembers that we took the denominator and we drew groups from that. Somebody take it from there. Jayla?
So we draw 8 rows and keep going on until we get to 16.
Okay, so she added a little more information to that. She said we're going to draw 8 rows. So he said we're going to draw groups using the denominator. She said 8 rows. So that means we're kind of setting up what kind of model? Mackenzie?
Array.
An array, right? So I'm going to do that part. 7, 8, fit one up there. So I set that up. So then what was that next step? What was the next step, London?
The next step was James said that to make 8 rows, then do it until you get to 16.
Oh, okay. So then that's the next step, right? So we have this number here, this whole number here, and we want to know what 1/8 of 16 is. So I agree. I need to pass out to these equal rows until I get to
16.
Okay, so I already had what?
8.
8. So I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
15, 16.
Oh, well, that was easy. So what do we notice about these rows, and what can we say about this 1/8? What do we remember about that, Keviana?
We will circle group.
We will circle groups. What is a group in this case?
A group, like when you circle the column.
So let's see. If I circle a whole column,
A row.
oh, okay. So you're saying circle rows. And what are these rows? What fraction represents each of these rows here? What fraction, Shanae?
2/8.
Well, if I circle 2 of them, it will be 2/8. But just one of them is what?
1/8.
1/8, right? So our question is, how much is 1/8 of 16? How much? How much is that, Valentine?
8.
Yeah, these are 8s, but I'm saying, what is 1/8? What do you notice about that?
It's 2.
Right, exactly. There are 2 holes in 1/8 of 16. So you remember this. So you remember all of our steps, right?
Yeah.
Use the denominator, because your denominator is how many groups you'll need. So we set that up using rows, and then we use the pass out method until we got to 16.
Yep.
And then now we figured out what 1/8 of 16 is. Now today we're going to do some word problems, but sometimes the word problems might be a little backwards than what we did. Sometimes they might tell you how many 1/8 is, and they're asking you for how much the whole group is. And it's fine because we already have these steps to where we can figure that out, right? Because we already know what we need to find out. So I'm going to give you an example before we start so you already know where we're going with this, okay? So here's my example. My example is a pet store has 2 gray rabbits. As I read this word problem, I'm going to write some of this information up. So 2 gray rabbits. Pet store has 2 gray rabbits. Everybody got that? Say pet store has 2 gray rabbits. Here's your next bit of information. 1/8, okay, of the rabbits at the pet store are gray. This is 1/8. 1/8 of the rabbits at the pet store are gray. Now, if I tell you that 1/8 of the rabbits are gray, and you know that that is 2 gray rabbits, I want to know how many rabbits are in the whole pet store. I want to know how many rabbits are in the whole pet store. Now think about that. How can I figure that out, Josiah?
You can look at the denominator and draw 8 until you get 8 2 times.
Oh, okay, I see that. You notice that he started with the denominator again? Except this time, and just like last time, our denominator is telling us what? How many groups we need. So I'm going to start there. So I'm going to do this. Instead of setting it up, well, I could. I'm going to show you two different ways. First way is, again, I'm going to set it up in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I set up 8 groups. And if I know that how many are in each group, I know that there are 2. Because I have 8s. I'm going to set up 8s. And then I'm going to put 2 in each group because I know that 1/8 has 2 in it. I know 1/8 has 2 in it. You see how I'm going backwards and it's starting to look like something similar? So if the question is how many rabbits are in the whole store, what do you need to do? 1/8 is gray, but now you know that this is 1/8. 1/8 is gray, but you know this represents the rest of the whole pet store. What did I do, Jamonte? Count by 2s and all the way
Down.
right? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12,
14, 16.
So we know that there are 16 rabbits, right?
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So step by step, this is the other way that I was telling you. Sometimes it might not be as easy to think about it in terms of an array. And you don't have to do it as an array this time. As long as you still start with your denominator in terms of how many groups you had. Because we know the denominator is how many total groups in all, right?
Yes.
So you could have done this. That means you know you have 8 groups. And you know how many is 1/8? 2. So you could have put your 2. Okay? And then you could finish your equal groups. And you still would have arrived at 16. I'm changing the numbers. I'm going to change the numbers. There are 6 apples. 6 apples in the fruit basket. Okay? I'm telling you right now that half of the fruit basket is apples. How many apples are in, how many pieces of fruit are in my fruit basket? And how can I figure that out? Valentine, walk me through it.
You can figure it out by going 2, 6 times
Where do you get that 2 from?
from the denominator.
Oh. Oh. But if you got this, if you got the 2 from the denominator, is that how many total groups you'll have?
Oh.
So what do I do? What do I do? How many groups? Oh. How many do we know is in one group? Because we know this is one group. How do we know how many are in one group? 6, right? And we have equal groups, right?
Yes.
So how much fruit do I have in all, in my whole group? London?
12.
I have 12 pieces of fruit, you see? Take your boards out, take your marker out. I want you to do the next one before we move into our math book. There are 3 apple juice. You don't have to write this. I just want you to work it out on your board. 3 apple juice boxes. Okay? I'm telling you right now that 1/4 of my juice boxes are apple juice boxes. How many juice boxes do I have in all, in my whole refrigerator? there are 3 apple juice boxes. 1/4 of them are apple juice boxes. How many juice boxes do I have in my whole refrigerator? Ooh, I like what I see. I like what I see. I'm seeing all different kinds of models. I'm seeing all different kinds of models. Excellent, excellent, excellent. You show me you're finished by having your pen closed and down and back in learner's position, just like Dakari. Dakari, stand up, show your board, and walk us through what you did to solve.
I can't see it.
Just put it right here in front of you. Draw it right here in front of you and face. There you go.
What I did was.
Nice big voice.
What
I like tracking. I like the tracking.
What I did was set my denominator, and my denominator is 4, so I put 4 of these. I put 3 in each group. So then.
Pause. Why did you put 3 in each group?
Because there's 3 juice boxes in each refrigerator.
Oh, in each group. Okay. Okay. So then what?
So I counted up all of my apples and then so my total is 12.
In the whole refrigerator. Bam. If you did a similar model, then you are also you also agree with Dakari. I also saw some arrays, which is totally fine. If you did both, that's totally fine. Jamonte did that as well. He did 4 rows because he knows that there were 4 in his denominator, 4 equal groups. So he set that up, and then he realized 3 in each because 1/4 is 3. So all he had to do is fill out the rest of his groups and realize there were 12. One more. Clear your boards. You should be ready in 3, 2, 1. Well, let's try this because you guys are really good. Okay, here it is. Lisa has 4 squeaky toys for her dog. Okay, 2/3 of the the dog's toys are squeaky toys. Okay, there are 4 squeaky toys in the basket. 2/3 of this group is squeaky toys. I want to know how many toys the dog has all together. Let's think about this. Think about it. There are 4 squeaky toys. I'm telling you that 2/3 of this dog's toys are squeaky toys. How many toys does the dog have in all? Now you realize that even though I said 2/3, we still set this up the same way. But you need to realize that I'm talking about 2/3.
Yes!
Class.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking about 2/3, let's think about this. Now, everybody, I'm looking around and I'm seeing everybody set this up in 3 groups. Either you did an array, or you did a model. Okay? So if you did 2/3, and I'm telling you that 4 squeaky toys is 2/3. that means that this right here, this is 2/3 right here, right?
Yes.
And I'm telling you, 4 squeaky toys is 2/3.
Oh my God.
I'm seeing some light bulbs going, some things that needed to change. This is different.
What's that?
That means 4 squeaky toys needs to be within these 2 groups. And if I'm gonna make equal groups out of these 2 groups right here, that means how many can I put here and how many can I put here? Josiah?
2.
Oh, Josiah said 2. Why you say 2, Josiah? This is a tough
Because
one.
if you have 2 in all the ones, and there's 3 of them, and you said 2/4 of them.
2/3.
2/3.
Uh-huh.
And 2 times 2 would be 4. So put 2 in.
2 in each. I like that. But what does that tell me I need to do about this last group over here?
Put 2 more in.
Put 2 more in there because we have all equal groups, right? So look at my picture. I have 2/3 that are squeaky toys, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer now, my total question is how many toys in all in his whole group? What am I going to say is my total? Blow it if you know it. Blow it harder. Release.
6.
When I say go, you're going to take out your math book. You're going to put your marker in your board away. Go. It should be done silently. It should be done quickly. I want you on page 337. 337. I see Jayla ready. I see Jaylyn ready. Okay, so to be honest, that last question we just did, that was the hardest that it gets. I gave you the hardest one. Okay? So now let's just work through a couple extra easier problems. Okay? And then we'll work our way back up. So at the bottom, look at the question at the bottom. It says Audrey buys a bouquet of 9 flowers and 1/3 of them are yellow. How many of the flowers are yellow? This goes back to last week again. So if I annotate this, I'm going to circle that 9 flowers. That's important. I'm going to circle that 9 flowers. That's important. I'm also going to circle 1/3. Okay? And yellow. 1/3 are yellow. And they're asking you how many. The 9 is my whole. Okay? In my whole group. 1/3 are yellow. How many are yellow? That is this. Same thing we've been doing. 1/3 of 9. How can you figure out what 1/3 of 9 is? Just find a space there to do the model. Let's go. Everyone should be working on that. 1/3 of 9 is what? Good. I'm seeing some people do the models in a couple different ways to check their work. I'm fine with that while you wait. How did you solve this, Tatiana?
How I solved it is that I kept doing things until I got to 9.
Okay, so then what did you notice?
What I noticed is that when I got all the way to 9,
How much is 1/3? Mm-hmm. 1/3 is 3. So if she set that up and realized that she's trying to find out of 1/3 of 9. So 9 is going to be how much you're going to have in your whole model. Set up the 3 rows because you're going to have 3 groups, equal groups. Count on by 3 until you get to 9. And then you realize that 1/3 is 3. Okay? Easy. Turn the page. Okay.
We did this already.
Oh, yeah, I know. I told him to do it on you.
Oh.
Okay, so turn to page 341. And look at this. It says Cameron has 4 clownfish in his tank. 1/3 of the fish in his tank are clownfish. How many fish does Cameron have in his whole tank? So now, when I annotate this, I have 4 clownfish, 1/3 are clownfish. I'm asking for how many does he have in his whole tank? Okay, so 1/3 equals 4. So if 1/3 is 4, how many are in his whole tank? Use the same information, draw a model. This is what we just did in our preview. 1/3 is 4 clownfish. So how many fish are in his whole group? Mackenzie, walk me through it.
So I made 3 groups
Okay.
and I put 4 in each and I counted up all of them so I got the 12.
Good, good. So we have 12 because we know 1/3 set up 3 groups. 1/3 is 4, which means each group has to have 4 in it, and you count the whole thing up and you get 12. Easy peasy. Turn the page. Turn the page. We did that one already. Turn the page. Lily. I used that one for my preview question. That was the rabbit question from earlier. Okay. I'm ready. You ready? Number 1, on page 343, Lily has 3 dog toys that are red. 1/4 of her dog toys are red. How many toys does Lily have? Draw the model. I see Kayla annotating. Because she wants to know all the information she has to see if they're asking for how many are in all. Sometimes your questions can ask how many are just in one group. Sometimes your questions can ask how many are in the whole group. Okay. This question is asking you for how many are in the whole group. They told you, they gave you one little part. You have to tell them how many are in the whole group. How did you do your model, London?
I did my model by doing 4 rows.
I can't hear you.
I did my model by doing 4 rows, then I did 4 rows until I got to 12.
Wait. So you did 4 rows because you know that 1/4. Okay, you knew 1/4 of all her dog toys are red, and you know that how many dog toys are red? 3. So if you know that 1/4 is represented here, right? 3, and it's 4 groups, so 1 out of 4 is 3. So what do we need to do? What do we need to make sure each group has? Remember, fraction is all about equal parts, right? Right, we gotta make sure each part has 3 in it. So now my question is very easy here. How many toys are there in the whole group, Jamonte? Again. Now you also could have set up your model like this with the 4 groups and made sure you had 3 in each. Oops. Okay, either way works. Just make sure you use your denominator to set up your groups. That's very, very important. Look down at the number 3. The pet store sells bags of pet food. There are 4 bags of cat food. 1/6 of the bags of food are bags of cat food. How many bags of pet food does the pet store have? There's a whole lot of food, cats and pets and food and cats and dogs. Just visualize that. They sell bags of pet food. Okay, there are 4 bags of cat food. 1/6 of the bags are cat food. That's all the information you need to start your model right there. Okay, this is all the information you need. That 4 bags are cat food, and that's 1/6. That's 1/6. How many bags of pet food does the whole store have if you know that 1/6 of the pet food is 4 bags of cat food? How much? Rihanna, how do I do this?
So I drew 6
Why?
groups because 6 was our denominator.
Okay, 6 groups, because 6 is our denominator. It tells us how many equal groups we're going to have it on.
And then I put 4 in each group.
Why you do that?
Because 4 is our numerator.
Because 4 is our numerator, is it?
I mean, because they have 4 bags.
And 4 bags is what?
1/6.
1/6. So we made sure that this 1/6 had 4 in it. And then we just need to make sure that all of the 6 had 4 in it. Okay? They told us what one little part is, and because we know fractions is equal groups, equal parts, we knew what we had to do for the rest of the group so we could count up how many was in the whole pet store. How many bags are in this pet store? Whisper below. And that is my answer. All right, last one. I want you to read on your own, solve on your own. I'm coming around to see what you do. It helps if you annotate so you can see what you're working with. Where's your model? So if our objective is we can solve fraction problems by using the strategy, draw a diagram. So you notice every one that we've done, we did the diagram for. It's great if you can do it in your head, but it's really great if you can check your work with a model and you can be sure. Jamonte, what am I gonna do? Oh wait, read it for me, nice big voice. These are parakeets, by the way. Parakeets. The birds.
All her birds are good. How many birds does Rachel have?
Okay, great. What did you do, Jamonte? Nice big voice.
That's 4 groups.
Okay, so you did 4 groups. And? Right, okay, good. 'Cause you knew that 1/4 is 2. So then you know that to do what? You need to make sure they're all equal parts there. So how many parakeets, which are birds, does Rachel own, Jamonte? 8. Simple as pie. Okay? What I want you to do next, I want you to do number 5 on your own, and then we'll work through the hot question together. So everybody, they gave you workspace. Do number 5.